Okay, let's just get right to it. If you're Gen Z, there's a very real chance you're never going to retire in the way our parents did. And I need you to hear this loud and clear. That's not your fault. It's not because you're lazy or bad with money, it's because the entire system has changed, but the advice they keep giving us hasn't.
And that's the feeling, isn't it? This quote just hits the nail on the head. It feels like you were thrown into a game where the rules were secretly rewritten halfway through. Everything that worked for previous generations, it's not just outdated for us, it's actually a roadmap to failure.
All right, let's look at the hard numbers, because they don't lie. Back in the 70s, a boomer could buy a house for about 3 times what they made in a year. Today, you're looking at 8 times your annual salary. Pensions? Nearly 90% of companies had them. Now, it's a measly 14%. And college? Well, it's gone from a stepping stone to a financial anchor of crushing debt. The game hasn't just changed. We're not even playing the same sport anymore.
So this brings us to the core of the problem. I like to call it the systemic squeeze. See, this isn't about one thing going wrong. It's about a whole bunch of powerful forces all closing in at the same time, making that traditional path to retirement a complete dead end for us. You can really break this squeeze down into 5 big forces. Think of them like the 5 horsemen of the Gen Z retirement apocalypse. You've got the education debt trap, a system that promised opportunity but handed you a bill for a small house instead. Then there's the housing crisis, making ownership a distant dream. You've got the instability of the gig economy, wages that can't keep up with inflation, and finally, the Social Security myth. Let's be real, that's not going to be there for us.
Let's just sit with this number for a second. $80,000. For so many, that's the starting line. But the real cost isn't the money, it's the time. This debt effectively erases your 20s as a time to build wealth. And your 20s are the single most powerful decade you have, where compound interest can work its magic. Our parents started saving at 22, we're just hoping to get back to zero by 35.
And this chart, wow, this chart just says it all. This is the great disconnect. Since 2000, yeah, wages went up about 70%. Sounds fine, right? But then you see housing costs shot up 180%, and education costs skyrocketed by an absolutely insane 250%. Your paycheck is in a race it was literally designed to lose from the start. So, here's the hard truth, the big takeaway from all this. When someone tells you to just save 15% or buy a house as soon as you can, they are giving you a playbook for a game that doesn't exist anymore. In this new world, that old advice doesn't just fall short, it guarantees you will fail. It is so easy to look at all of this data and just feel defeated, to think, well, the game's just rigged. And you know what? In a lot of ways, the old game is rigged against us. But what if the answer isn't about trying to win a rigged game? What if it's about playing a completely different game altogether? And this is where we pivot. This is where we stop talking about the problem and start building the solution. The new goal isn't retirement, forget that word. The new model, the new goal, is financial independence. It's not just a cute buzzword, it's a necessary strategy to survive and actually to thrive. So, what does that actually mean? Financial independence, or FI, is pretty simple. It's the point where the money your assets, your investments, your side hustles make is enough to cover your basic living expenses. That's it. At that point, your 9-to-5 job becomes a choice, not a 30-year necessity. It's about having options, it's about freedom. And the strategy to get there is built on 3 main pillars. It's a whole new playbook. First, we build multiple income streams, no more relying on a single paycheck. Second, we front-load our wealth building. That means going incredibly hard on saving and investing right now. And third, we aim for a really cool target called Coast-Fi, which is a total game changer. This right here is maybe the most important mindset shift of all. Because of compound interest, every single dollar you invest in your 20s has the power of like $4 invested in your 40s. Time is the one unfair advantage you have in this whole game. Front-loading your investing is how you press that advantage to the absolute max. And this is where it gets crazy. This is the magic of Coast-Fi. Just look at this. Person A goes all out and manages to invest 150 grand by the time they're 30. And then they never invest another dime. Seriously, zero. Person B starts at 40 with the same amount and has to keep pouring in $15,000 every single year until they're 65, and they still end up with less money. By going hard early, you reach a point where your money starts doing all the work for you, and you can just coast. It's incredible. Okay, theory is awesome, but let's make this real.
let's talk about what you can actually do. This isn't some 10-year out fantasy. This is an action plan you can literally start the second this is over.
So here are your first 3 moves. Step 1, build income stream number 2. Find a skill you have, writing, design, editing videos, anything, and turn it into an extra $500 a month. Give yourself a 6-month deadline. Step 2, front load your way to your first 100K. Set up automatic investments into a simple, low-cost index fund. Think of it like owning a tiny slice of the 500 biggest companies in the US. That first 100K is the hardest part, but it's the tipping point where your money really starts to work for you. And step 3, calculate your freedom number. Go online, find a Coast-Fi calculator, and figure out your specific target. This turns a vague anxiety into a clear, concrete mission.
So I want to leave you with this question. The world has changed, yes. The challenges are real, but the tools and the strategies we have now are more powerful than ever. The choices you make over the next 10 years are going to create 2 very different groups of people, the financially free and the forever employed. The old way is broken. A new way is here. The only question left is, which group will you be in?
Like and subscribe.